Hello guys, have you ever wondered why English is such a popular language? Why are you expected to know English if you want to move ahead in your career? Not only in India, in most of the countries in the world you are expected to be able to speak it in English in addition to your mother tongue. Why what is so special about English that it's become the most powerful language in the world? Why it is the global language and it was the most popular language in the world before English? In today's education video, let's try to find out why English is such a most popular language.
Like most languages, English has evolved through generations of speakers.
Beh, non è sicuramente una
Die Sere están en Barcelona cenando ceviche con cerveza.
Wie kommt es, dass wir Deutschen da so schlecht drin sind?
Ficar para a festa da Mercê.
A Budapest, Hungario, mi esta Stella, kaj la lingvo kiu mi parolas.
The English language is a big, beautiful mess. Few languages are as diverse and unexpected in their history. Let's begin.
Looking back at the history, the answer begins with the British Empire, the largest empire in the world. For 200 years, Britain was the most powerful nation in the world, from Canada to India, from Australia to Nigeria, from Caribbean to South Africa. The British Empire was ruled over the third of the people on earth. The year was 1922 when this empire was at its peak. It was occupying a large chunk of the world. If we look at the map of that time, so approximately 25% of the earth area was under the control of British Empire. At the time, if we start from the one corner, so it's covered New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, the UAE, many African countries, then comes to the UK and then Canada. All of these were under the British control. In total population of 450 million peoples were under the British Empire. The British Empire was colonizing so many countries, and the peoples of the colonies, if they wanted to have a good career, if they wanted to get a job, they have to learn English language. That's why in the colonies countries, English was considered the language of life. If you were educated and had a good job, then of course you know English. But what happened when the whole of the British Empire is starting breaking away? So by the 1950, most of the colonies had gotten their independence, or they had begun a strong independence movement against British. The British had to leave the country and had to give the independence to these countries. One of these countries was India. Even after getting independence, in most of the colonies, English remained as the official or the national language. So why? So there were different reasons in different countries. So firstly, take example for India. The Constitution Assembly discusses this in detail whether English should be used as an official language in India or should Hindi be made into the national language. Many people favor Hindustani language becoming the national language of the country, the language which is the mix of Hindi and Urdu, but many people believe that English should continue as the official language. Many leaders from South India were also considered about it. He believed that Hindi is a North Indian language, and if it becomes the national language, the South Indian could feel unrepresented. That's why it was decided that there could be a two official language in India, Hindi and English. Let's talk about the American story. Is something similar to this nation. United States of America was colonizing by so many countries like Britain, France, Spain, Netherlands. By the major portion belongs to the Britain. So when the USA got its independence from the Britishers, they realized the importance of having a national identity, and that language play a very important role. They decided that this language would be English, which could unite the various states. You might be surprised to know this by that at the time, many languages were spoken in the USA. These languages some included like French, Spanish, Dutch, German. But English was given priority to the extent that by the early 20th century, several East states banned teaching in foreign languages in schools. It was only 1923 that the Supreme Court of USA struck down the private language education restriction. The story that I told you till now explained English being spoken in the countries colonizing by Britain. But you have a question, what about the rest of the countries in the world? No one forced the other country to use English. So how did English spread to the rest of the world? So the answer of this question is hidden in the last 50 to 70 years. So in the World War II, the Allied countries defeated the Axis countries. Allied countries like Britain, America, France defeated the countries like Germany, Japan, Italy. The first point is that the countries that win a world war of this scale, their culture dominated over the world. Since English was spoken in Britain and the USA, it dominated the world. And the second important point was that after the end of World War II, the USA was one of the only countries that did not incur huge losses. The developed European countries were devastated, their economic growth had crashed. But in America, a large economic boom was seen after the end of the World War II. After the 1950s, America came up as a superpower along with the Soviet Union with the help of capitalism. American businesses started to spread all around the world. The top business schools started teaching in English. So English became the language for trade and businesses. The music brand from America were released their work in English. It started becoming the more popular worldwide. Additionally, the same thing was seen with the filmmakers. Hollywood films and American television series become global sensation. America had the best technologies in all these aspects. Due to this, the American culture is spread throughout the world. World War II is said to be a very important reason for this because many people believe if that German and the Axis power won the World War II, then phrases German would be seen as the more dominated language in the world today. Because in most of the European countries, German language could have been seen imposed on most European countries. The reality of today is that America and Britain's victory, English proved to be a powerful language. So friends, because of all these reasons, today in 2022, English has become the most powerful, the most important, and the most powerful popular language. But is English the first global language? No. So the story that I told you started from the British Empire was established. What happened before it? Was there another global language before English? The answer is yes. There were two Indo-European languages that were very dominated in their era. And these languages were Greek and Latin. Linguistic professor from the University of Chicago is stated that Latin is the first recognized global language in the world, and it was the global language longer than English for 1300 years. It was the dominant language in the world. It was during the Roman Empire. In most of the Western European cities, Latin was one of the most main language. But after the end of Roman Empire, the language that it broke into the pieces, it is started developing differently in different regions. Due to this, many of the current languages were formed. You will be surprised to know that Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Italian, these four important and widely spoken languages, emerged from Latin. On the other hand, if you talk about Asia, in Asia, Arabic, Chinese, and Persian, these are the dominating language. I'm talking about the 15th century. As you know, Mughal Empire like Akbar talked in Farsi. So do you know that around the latter 1800, some people thought that the languages that exist now are imperfect in some way or the other. So they decided to develop a language through which every person can make a conversation on that language. A language which could not be limited to only our country, that is not limited to a region. Instead, it could be a global language. That's how the Esperanto language was born. It was a language that was created by the Polish man in 1887. And obviously, as you can guess, this language was not successful today. It is estimated that about 100,000 to 2 million people speak Esperanto. One thing is certain, it is very easy to learn this language. The creator of this language claimed that if you want to learn this language, it could take only an hour to learn its grammar. If you know any European language like Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French, German, English, so you can easily learn this language because it is a language created out of the combination of these languages. And while creating it, it was ensured that the grammar is made as simple as possible. Things are pronounced as they are spelled, and by using prefix and suffix, it is very easy to create a new word. So it doesn't have an extensive vocabulary. You can easily learn the new word of this language. It has 28 alphabets, and if you compare it to English, it is missing alphabet like U, W, X, Y. Because the developer of this application felt that this alphabet are a bit useless and are not used much. So they are replaced by some alternative alphabet for sounds that are normally signified in English by any special alphabet. So these are the journey, story, and reason why English has become the most popular language. I hope you find this video informative as always. If you want to watch more videos on similar topics, comment below to let me know and to suggest me more topics. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.